Welcome back, squad. 3 things I learned playing fantasy this year. Let's go. Welcome back, squad. I feel like I learn things every year, mostly from losing and not winning, but here we are. Let's jump in. First thing I learned, you want depth. Obviously, that's important, but you don't want too much depth. My team was good at the beginning of the year, right? They were decent to start, but I didn't have a ton of star players. And part of that was people just kind of sucked this year. And part of that was that I only drafted a couple, right? I only drafted Devon Achane. I only drafted Bucky Irving. So that was good at running back, but the wide receiver depth was really deep. But on the downside, that made it hard for me to actually decide who to play each week. When you're having to decide between 5 wide receivers at 3 positions or 6 wide receivers at 3 positions, it gets murky and difficult. I would much rather trade 3 of those dudes for one solid dude and risk the injury and just say, if he gets hurt, he gets hurt. At least I tried. Now, this wasn't for lack of trying to make trades. I got rejected 7,000 times this year, but I learned that throughout the year that depth is important, especially at running back more than wide receiver in my mind. But having too much depth kind of makes you a mid team, in my opinion. Begrudgingly, I think you can have too much depth and not enough star power. Unless your stars are amazing and your bench is really good, then whoop-de-doo-dah. But that's pretty rare. Number 2, I think we all learned this season. No wide receiver is QB proof. We saw this with JJ finishing at wide receiver 26 this year with JJ McCarthy, Carson Wentz, Max, We saw this with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins with Jake Browning. We saw this with Garrett Wilson with most of the offense, right? So there's just not a wide receiver who can consistently prove time and time again that they are matchup proof or QB proof, right? And we can see time and time again that it's just really hard for a wide receiver to be QB proof. Now, there's some that I'm curious about, right? Like Puka Nacua, for example. As of now, I'd say no wide receiver is QB proof until I'm shown otherwise. And the last point, win today, worry tomorrow. It sounds pretty straightforward, but I'll explain. For me, I found that some of the easier trades for me to make were trades down the road. And not that those aren't important. I got so focused on trying to win week 12 because it was a big matchup against a big time team, which I lost anyway, which was cool. But I would forget about the weeks, next week, 2 weeks away. And that was hard for me to be consistent with because I get so future casting, at least for me, that I want to fix 4 weeks from now. I want to fix when Bucky comes back from injury. I traded away Bucky for Cam Scadaboo this year, which sucked, but I think it was at the time the right call because he was probably 2 or 3 weeks left into his injury before he came back. And I think that was the lesson I learned is that win today, worry tomorrow. I just needed a win. I was pretty middle of the pack at that point and I just needed a victory. So I made the move to go get Cam and it was a good move. It was a good deal and I felt good about it. But then he, dislocated his entire body. So that was tough. But can't predict that. So ultimately, I think that was the right decision though and the right move. I also did that with Garrett Wilson. When he went on IR, I immediately shipped him off for Jameson Williams. And JMO has been a dump truck of a mountain. The peaks and the valleys are tough, obviously, but he had some good weeks for me. And JMO was good enough that he was worth giving away Garrett Wilson for potentially 4 weeks. And they shut him down anyway for the rest of the year. Even if they didn't, that's 4 weeks of at least play that you have from someone. So I'm slowly turning the horse around to feeling better about trading for now instead of trading for later. Yeah, that's important. Obviously, if playoffs come, that's kind of a little bit different, but you want to win now and worry later rather than worrying now and winning later. Anyway, what did you learn this season? I feel like I learned a lot. Losing is humbling. Excited for this off season. Might do some March Madness stuff, might do some more off season football. Looking forward to it some. In the meantime, we'll talk to you soon. Peace out.